everyone, my name is Haley Terry, and I'm here today to present to you a theory that I did research on in my capstone class. I learned so much during this 8 weeks that I started to develop my research project, and with all the information that I provide you today, I hope that you guys are able to take that and implement it into your future and any goals that you have. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. So here we go. Are good leaders made or born? Most people will argue that either can be true. Good leaders need many qualities in order to be an effective leader, but there are also many other factors that contribute to being a good leader. This presentation will contain one of those theories, and that is the functional leadership of theory. It will also define what functional leadership theory is, discuss one of the people who helped develop this theory, and will also give some advantages and disadvantages within this theory. I have also listed some characteristics that you may see within the theory. So what is functional leadership of theory? Functional leadership theory states that all leaders can be made by modeling what positive behavior looks like. This theory respects the thoughts and opinions of all. All team members are given an opportunity to lead and state their opinions. Team members are a part of a group or team with a common goal, and all group members come together to accomplish the goal. Functional leadership theorists believe that the importance of leadership is not who is in charge, but how the group accomplishes the goal. So now that we know what functional leadership theory is, let's discuss who helped develop this theory and why he was important for the success of this theory. And that would be John Adair. John Adair is one of the foremost experts and developers of leadership and leadership training. He was a professor at Royal Military Academy in Sandhurst. And in 1979, after observing young officer cadets that were in charge of leadership tasks, he developed 3 sets of needs required to be an effective leader. This was known as the action-centered leadership approach. And there are 3 elements that are critical to effective leadership in all leadership situations. The first is the achievement of the goal or task. The team or group must have clear goals that are shared and come together to complete those tasks. The second is that each individual is involved in the task. The group may take on a life of its own, but the identity of each individual will not be lost. The third is the group of people performing the task. This group must understand that the goal can only be met if the group works together. This theory is so important that you must work together as a team in order to be successful. So balancing these 3 key elements is a key to success within functional leadership of theory. So now that we know what functional leadership theory is and who helped develop this theory, let's discuss some of the advantages and disadvantages that there is. So one advantage is that team members feel positive about their contribution. There is a notion that when people are led this way, the results are positive since all group members can feel empowered. Another disadvantage is that the main leader or the boss does not always have to be present. All team members come together as a group or team to perform those tasks. Individuals work together to meet the needs of the team, and all team members tend to develop leadership and decision-making skills through participating in the group. And it is easier to identify and solve problems within the team when the team does work together. So with advantages, we all know there comes disadvantages. So one disadvantage is that different groups may struggle working with other groups. At times, a project may call for several groups to work together. So sometimes groups have difficulty when required to work together within a team they're not familiar with. They struggle. So they're comfortable with their own team, but they don't communicate as well with another team as they would with their own team. Another disadvantage is that it can be difficult to maintain control over groups. The individual strengths of each team can also become a disadvantage. If there are members of the team that struggle with taking initiative and completing tasks, then the group may sink due to that one bad team member. I know some of you probably have been a part of some projects. I mean, I have in some of my classes that I've been in, and some of the team members just don't take initiative and do their work, so therefore we suffered as one team. We didn't just suffer individually, we all suffered together, and that's just part of being on a team. It goes for sports, anything. So now that we have an idea of what advantages and disadvantages are, let's talk about some of the characteristics that you will see develop in this theory. So this leadership indicates different characteristics that could demonstrate through this leadership. So some of those could be the priority of needs, the focus on actions, the flexible leadership role, the understanding of responsibilities, organizing, motivation, controlling, setting an example, and guidance. This theory also illustrates the different types of behaviors that define the organization and observe how the behavior occurs. Therefore, this leadership maintains its focus on how the organization is being led, not who the leader is. So in conclusion, functional leadership theory allows people to develop into successful leaders. It also allows people to communicate effectively within small groups. There are three main points that must be balanced for this theory to be successful: team, individual, and task. This goes back to John Adair's action-centered leadership approach that he developed. So I want to leave you with a quote from John Adair. You can be appointed as a manager, but you aren't a leader until people choose to follow you. Okay, so with all that, I want to give you a background of what brought me here to NSU and this Retire program. This is my first year here at Northeastern, and it's took me a while, but when I graduated from high school, I was very certain that I wanted to go to college to pursue a career in education. My whole family is in education. They all have degrees in education, and I thought that's what I wanted to do. But as I journeyed through my first few years of college and worked in classrooms, I found that education was not my thing. I didn't want to do that for the rest of my life. And unfortunately, it took me 3 years of college classes to come to that realization. It was a struggle. I decided to take a break from college and work full-time to try to discover what I wanted to do with my life. I had a strong desire to be a college graduate. However, I had no idea what kind of degree or career I wanted for myself. I was just one of those college students that was lost and confused and didn't know what to do. But that's when NSU came along and guided me through the right path, and I could not be more thankful. So I was working at the bank, and I found that I really loved working with finance and business. I started researching business degrees, and that led me to calling NSU. The Retire personnel were so helpful and kind to me, and I had not experienced that at any other university that I have attended. There at NSU, I was just a number, but in the Retire program, I felt like they really cared about me and wanted me to be successful. I enrolled immediately in the program, and I have been able to go to work full-time and go through the program, which has been very helpful, because not many degrees that you can pursue go to work full-time and go to school. I mean, you just can't do that because you got to go to classes, but with Retire, it has allowed me to be on school full-time, online. So I've discovered that business is definitely my niche, and I love working with numbers and people. So with this program, it has given me an opportunity to succeed, and it has helped me improve my self-value. I am very appreciative for the opportunities that this program has allowed me to go through, and this has definitely been a life-changing program for me, and I could not be any more thankful to have been a part of this program. The Retire program has provided me the opportunity to grow and learn a variety of things about myself, leadership qualities, and the importance of entrepreneurship. And before I started this program, I was not aware of all the qualities it took for a leader to be successful. And this program has allowed me to gain a better understanding of leadership qualities, as well as how to be successful and the importance of leadership within an organization. And each of the core classes and focus classes that were offered to me were beneficial, as there were many things that I needed to understand and learn about the marketing and business world as I became a successful leader. So with that being said, this has been a fun class, a fun last 8 weeks. I've enjoyed this class so much. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to comment. Bye.